Alright, part 9 of the Lauson hit and miss engine restoration. And in today's video we're going to be restoring and completing all of this sub-framework that old engine sits on. So here are the pieces that are going to be replacing the original. Douglas fir. I burned them and I stained them with some golden oak, and I couldn't have asked for a better finish. Oh man, that's going to look beautiful. So what we're going to be doing today is we got to disassemble this thing. We got to take the rest of these support legs off. We got to take the wheel off, and then it's just the two pieces of wood and a weird bracket type thing that's underneath that one. But it should be easy enough. We just got to take 4 bolts out, and then we'll line up pieces of wood like so, and we'll use the old one as a pattern and just drill the holes and plop it on. But we'll be restoring each and every nut and bolt too, to make sure they're in good shape as well. I just took the impact driver to these support legs here. These bolts came out not too hard. I tried doing the old school manual hand labor with a hammer and it wasn't going to work. But I just love these washers. Decorative washers. Wish we would do more stuff like that today. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So I think the next step, we just got to take the wheel back off. I already went through the wheel and everything, and then you guys know I got the support pieces that go out to here, to these spots. So I'm not going to do anything with these holes because when I'm ready to put this back together, I can just mount those support legs or those support brackets right here, line them up to where I want, pop the screws in, call it good. So let's get this wheel off. Alright, so I'm going to get this wheel off. And this is one of the pieces that I had to replace. I had to replace the actual bolt. The other one was just too far gone. This one's going to come off in a jiffy. What I like to do is I like to put anti-seize on as much things as I possibly can. That way if I do have to take them off, well, they're not seized up or anything. There we go. God, I love square bolts. Comment down below if any of you have ever seen a square nut or bolt that has been stripped out. I sure as hell never have. Using these for some applications today probably isn't the worst idea in the world. And what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to get some new washers and put them in here, because that's where some should be. Get this out of there. Boom. Now we just have the frame to deal with. Okay, so I got it flipped over. Just taking a look at it. This thing is really, really old, because this thing is pretty much all structurally sound with wood planking. These holes that go in each of the boards also hold a board that's within these metal frame pieces right here. And I'm not going to touch this wood. I think it had good survivability chances being hugged by that metal. It still seems strong. I mean, it's dirty and nasty, but there's not much I can do about that. So we're just going to go with the flow. I'm going to take the torch to all of these. These are all going to be pretty easy, I think. I think the bolts are really stuck in the wood, so hopefully that's got enough grab that I can heat them up and get them turned off. The weird thing is the ones in the back, like all those ones, 2 of them are correct, but then the other 2 are backwards, so that's going to make it kind of a pain. And that board is going to be tricky to get lined up. Hopefully there's enough material there that I can get some good measurements and stuff from. There's also that weird bracing piece. I'm not sure what it's doing. I'm going to have to figure that out. But yeah, let's get to torching. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to take the acetylene torch to this. I'm going to get these bolts loosened up. And I'm not real worried about the wood. It's going to be alright. Just got to be careful. Angle it up more, and the heat won't get to you. There, that one's red hot. You can get all the nasty shit out of there. The thing is too, I don't know if it's true or not, but from what I've heard, is that if you heat wood up with a torch, it kind of tempers it a little bit. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I just did it kind of like for the prettiness to bring out the grain on the wood. And we got that one nice and hot. Good for burning out all the crap you don't want on your stuff. We'll just go one more time. Maybe spray some lubricant in those, and they'll come off. I might as well do the backside too while I'm at it. Alright. That's good enough for me. I got the first front board off, and it was pretty darn tricky. Because all that grease from the engine running over the ears and everything seeped down into that wood, and it almost turns into glue. And unfortunately, I'm probably going to end up replacing all of the bolts that hold the panels onto this frame here. I'm going to try and keep what I can of the square hardware, but I don't think it'll be much. So, you know, for what it is, I've only replaced nuts and bolts on this thing and a couple other parts, so got pretty lucky. But I have over here, I have the piece of wood. It's nothing but the wood, so those are the 4 holes that we got to drill. And I'm just going to lay this thing on top of that board, on top of that board, and just drill the holes. And this piece, or at least that piece, will be good to go. And do the same to the back, and then I can fully take it apart, or it'll be fully taken apart at that point, and I can prime and paint this, get it cleaned up, slap it back together, and it'll be good to go. There we go. Number 1 board is done, aside from drilling the holes for the support beams, but I'm going to do that after it's all put together. Doesn't really matter where they go, I'll just eyeball it. But the weird thing is, I don't know if you can see that, but those holes are not matched up, weirdly enough. I mean, that's the way the board was, so maybe they just did it that way, or I have no idea. But this one's going to be more tricky to drill, just because, well, there's nothing there. And hardly anything over here. In fact, yep, that bolt is showing through. I might have to drill this hole, mount it with those 2, and then drill that hole and that hole. Not sure yet. We'll get to that. Alright, so after many years of battling, I managed to get that second piece off. I have them in order. This would be the front. This would be the back. Have all the hardware sitting there. So now, the only thing I have left to do is to get this thing cleaned up, get it painted, and I can start putting it back together. I was gonna try and get this brace off. Ain't happening. I tried, and all these carriage bolts are doing are spinning. And I'm not gonna try and even finagle with those. It's a brace. It'll be there till the end of time, so I think it'll be alright. So when you guys see this next, it should be primed and painted, if not primed at least. And I'll have to, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take that rear board and the holes that are good, this one, and, oh, where's that bugger? Right there. I'm going to drill those, line up the boards as best I can, drill those two, mount it, and then I will drill the other two when they're lined up, and it should work just fine. Alright, so we are way ahead of schedule. Kind of got ahead of myself and started doing things, and this is where we're at. I'm just test fitting everything. As you can see, nothing is lined up. That's just the way the original boards were, and I can understand warpage. I don't think being buried in the dirt would warp wood this bad. This one's completely this way, and this one's a little bit kinked that way, so neither of them are really lined up. I don't think it's going to matter though, as long as the engine is on a stable platform. And honestly, holy crap, that looks beautiful. It really does. But I went ahead and did my thing. One hole here, one hole here. I'm going to drill the other two in just a minute. And then we'll get it bolted up. I think I want to clear coat these, so I'm probably going to end up taking it back apart eventually, but for now that looks pretty good. I want to go with that. So after I get those drilled, I can do the weird thing right here, but I can also get the wheel back on, and then this thing will be put back together. How about that? Okay, so it's getting late, but I got all the bolt holes drilled, and I even countersunk all of them because I think the engine boards, the skids, actually go over a couple of these, so I figured I should probably make them flush with the rest of the wood. I think we're going to call it good for now. I'll get back to it in the morning, get the wood clear coated. Everything's bolted down, but it's not tightened up, so it'll still be easy to take apart. Get them clear coated and get the wheel on, and then this thing will be done and good to go. Slap the two pieces together, and I got a hit and miss engine finally. So I got around to clear coating the boards now. I already did the skids when I put the engine together, so we're just worrying about the boards that are on the framework. I'm doing 2 coats all around. I'm doing the sides and the back first, that way if I flip them over and it's still a little tacky and it leaves some blemishes, it won't even really be noticeable. I wish it had been a little bit more glossy. You can see the reflection. Like I said, it's just 2 coats, but when it dries it kind of turns a little more matte. The one over here, the back one, is completely done. But I mean, it's not as it's shiny. I just wish it was a little bit more shiny, a little bit more glossy, but you know what, for what it is, I really like it. It darkened up the wood just enough to make it look beautiful. Oh my goodness. I think with that all being said, all I really have to do is wait for that other one to dry, put it together, get the wheel on, get the support legs on, of course, and then the framework's done. It's done. And it's going to look damn good. And voila, there it is in all its glory. There is the Lauson Model W engine stand. Just got it all put back together. Had to do a couple of things, and I actually forgot about the support bracing that goes here and here. So I'll have to get those done and get them screwed on, but these support posts are just flat tube steel and then a tube plate welded on, and there's a thread, a little bit of thread going through it. I had to use washers to compensate the space on all 4 of these because none of them would fully go down. But I got it in the end. And I need to buy a couple shorter bolts for some of these panels here. Some of the wood inside the frame has gone away, and so there's a lot of dead space in there. But aside from that, wow, it turned out way better than I thought it was gonna. Dang. Well, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So, lads and lassies, that is going to do it for part 9. Part 10 is the finale. We're just going to slap the engine on this thing and then see if we can get it to fire. We are damn near done, and it feels good. It feels really good. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. And Yamasaki out. We'll see y'all later.